The high-stakes mission that killed Osama bin Laden is putting a rare spotlight on the U.S. Navy SEALs.
I don't know, have better recruiting. They are just bigger and studlier, so it's like...
The failed DEVGRU mission no one talks about. Have you ever wondered about the top secret missions that go beyond the news? Today we're delving into the shocking narrative about a failed DEVGRU operation that is rarely discussed. What was the purpose of the mission, and how did they intend to take down a high-value target without firing a single shot? And why is this story being kept hidden? Well, stay tuned as we unveil the mysteries of the unspoken-about DEVGRU expedition. Let me tell you about the Naval Special Warfare Development Group, also known as DEVGRU or SEAL Team 6. They're a highly elite unit within the United States Navy working as part of the Joint Special Operations Command or JSOC. Within JSOC, they go by the cool name Task Force Blue. DEVGRU is all about super top secret stuff, and that's why most of the information about them is classified. The United States Department of Defense and the White House rarely comment on their activities. But despite all the official name changes, they're still widely known as SEAL Team 6. DEVGRU is part of the U.S. military's top-tier special mission units. They're the go-to guys for the most complex, classified, and dangerous missions. In the past, they received their orders from the National Command Authority, but now it's straight from the President or the Secretary of Defense. Their missions are seriously intense. They handle counterterrorism, hostage rescue, special reconnaissance, and direct action tasks. These guys are often sent after high-value targets, and they get the job done like no one else can. It's pretty amazing what they can do. In 2013, a daring pre-dawn raid took place in Bahrain, Somalia, as American Navy SEALs launched a lightning amphibious assault on the Islamist militant group Al-Shabaab. Their target was an inconspicuous two-story beachside house where they aimed to capture Abdul Qadir Mohammed Abdul Qadir, a senior commander of Al-Shabaab with links to various terrorist plots.
A U.S. Navy SEAL has been killed in Somalia in an operation against the militant group Al-Shabaab. The U.S. Africa Command says 2 other service members were also injured.
The house, located about 200 meters from the sea on the town's east side, was known to be used by foreign extremists who had joined Al-Shabaab. The operation began with sporadic gunfire, waking up the residents at around 2 a.m. Sheikh, a mother of young children, was taken by surprise. The town rarely experienced such early morning gunfire except when Al-Shabaab conducted training exercises. As the assault unfolded, Sheikh and other residents were unaware of the stealthy advance of the Navy SEAL Team 6, the same unit that had famously killed Osama bin Laden in Pakistan. The SEALs approached the Somalian coastline in a speedboat before first light, accompanied by 3 small boats providing backup on the Indian Ocean. The mission, however, did not go as planned. Less than an hour after the assault began, the American Navy SEALs were forced to retreat, and the mission to capture Abdul Qadir was unsuccessful. Despite the setback, the raid provided valuable insights into Al-Shabaab's activities in the area, shedding light on the presence of foreign extremists and their operations in the area. Shortly after, a gun battle erupted between the Al-Shabaab fighters in the targeted house and the U.S. forces. The element of surprise was lost when a lone Al-Shabaab fighter spotted the SEALs and opened fire, leading to a chaotic exchange of gunfire and grenades that echoed through the town. Despite the fierce resistance from the Al-Shabaab fighters, the American sources pressed on with their offensive. According to an unnamed elder, the American forces divided into 2 groups, one storming the house and engaging in a deadly firefight with the fighters inside, while the other group stayed outside. The situation escalated as Al-Shabaab fighters from other houses joined the fight, making it more difficult for the SEALs to proceed.
This Al-Shabaab terrorist and discovered that there were civilians in the surrounding area.
During the raid, some SEALs managed to spot their target, Abdul Qadir Mohammed Abdul Qadir, through windows, but he was heavily protected, and Al-Shabaab claimed he wasn't even in the building. The Pentagon officials must have been tight-lipped about the details, but they did reveal that the U.S. forces decided to retreat from the gun battle to avoid potential civilian casualties. Leaked information indicated that the compound had more women and children than the SEALs had anticipated, which played a role in the decision to retreat. Despite the setback in capturing Abdul Qadir, the raid shed light on Al-Shabaab's activities in the area and offered valuable insights for future operations. After the intense firefight with the Al-Shabaab militants, the commandos made their way back to their boat, relieved that they had suffered no casualties. The town finally settled into calmness. Fadumo Sheikh, who had been awakened by the gunfire, described how the call for prayer at 3 a.m. marked the end of the shooting. Once it felt safe enough to venture outside, she saw some al-Shabaab fighters and residents gathered around the house that had been attacked.
But rather working under the same authorities that they've had since they began their advise and assist operations in 2013.
The al-Shabaab fighters seemed somber and not keen on interacting with the people. Some of them wore masks concealing their faces. Sheikh witnessed the aftermath of the raid, with one dead man being prepared for burial. This man was identified as Abdul Qadir's bodyguard by a source in the town. According to Somali Defense Minister Abdi Hakim Haji Mohammed Fiki, two senior al-Shabaab commanders, one foreign and the other of Somali and Swedish origin, were killed in the attack, although the primary target, Abdul Qadir, remained elusive. The presence of more al-Shabaab fighters and supporters swelled around the house in the morning. They made threats, vowing to kill anyone cooperating with non-believers. On the beach, residents examined items left behind by the U.S. forces, which included a gray military bulletproof jacket and military boots suspected to belong to the American commandos. The raid left a significant impact on the town and the al-Shabaab militants, who were determined to retaliate against any perceived collaboration with outsiders. In the aftermath of the U.S. assault, al-Shabaab responded by deploying heavily armed fighters to patrol the streets of Barawe. They also stationed men and anti-aircraft weapons on the beach to strengthen their defenses. In addition to the show of force, the militant group initiated a hunt for suspected informants who might have aided U.S. intelligence in locating the targeted house.
We got our GFC, our ground force commander. He gets in a turret behind a 50. We're grabbing guns to, basically hold off whatever's coming next.
As a result, a man who frequented the local internet cafe was arrested and remains in custody. Barawe had been under al-Shabaab's control since 2008, serving as a refuge for their senior leaders after losing control of Mogadishu and other towns in 2011. Notable figures like Ahmed Godane, the group's leader, and Omar Hamami, the so-called jihadist rapper from Alabama, sought shelter in Barawe before facing their fates. Abdul Qadir Mohammed Abdul Qadir, the primary target of the recent U.S. raid, was also among the prominent individuals sheltering in the town. Barawe's location makes it strategically important for al-Shabaab. It's approximately 135 miles from Mogadishu, with the nearest town under government and African Union forces control being Shalanbod, which is only 68 miles away. To the east lies the Ambaresa training camp for al-Shabaab's foreign fighters. The town's population is subject to the group's strict control, with forced marriages being a common occurrence, particularly when al-Shabaab commanders, including foreign fighters, seek brides, even if the girls are underage. The events of the raid on October 5th demonstrated the U.S.'s willingness to take the fight directly to al-Shabaab. While the group may have bolstered its confidence in its defenses, it's now aware that the world's most powerful military can strike at its doorstep. Al-Shabaab's response was defiant, with its military operations spokesman warning Western countries that they are vigilant and prepared to face any attacks. According to David Gartenstein-Ross, a Somalia and al-Shabaab expert at the Foundation for the Defense of Democracies, Barawe is currently the strongest sanctuary for the militant group. After their attack on Nairobi's Westgate Mall, it was likely that al-Shabaab expected some form of foreign raid in response. In the wake of the U.S. assault, the group's expected to focus on strengthening internal security in its grip on Barawe rather than launching another terror attack. Pentagon spokesman George Little confirmed that more special operations raids against al-Shabaab are on the horizon. The U.S. military, in partnership with the government of Somalia, will continue to confront the threat posed by al-Shabaab. Little asserted that the United States military possesses unmatched capabilities and will use them to disrupt terrorist networks and thwart their plots. Thanks for watching. If you found this story as fascinating as we did, don't forget to like this video and share it with your friends. And if you want more exclusive content like this, make sure to subscribe to our channel and hit that notification bell so you never miss a new video.